Daniel, back on the track at Awapuni, we haven't updated the process since sand slitting time. There have been a few delays. Tell us what the process has been since then.
Sand slitting didn't quite go to plan. Weather didn't play the ball, so it got done a little bit later than we wanted to. So you're trying to grow grass when it's getting into the heat of the summer. And we've now achieved that. We've got a great nutrition program going on. As you can see behind me, we've got beautiful lush green grass. So we're tracking in the right direction.
Tell me a little bit about the way the surface looks, because you can still see the lines where the sand slitting occurred.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of that still there. That's just going to be maturity of the grass, so we'll even out over time in nutrition, getting the foliar sprays that we're going to use soon, just to even the surface out and yield the colour.
And what is your process from now until getting back to racing at the end of April?
So once again, nutrition again to keep the grass healthy. Also a lot of foliar sprays that's going to help the roots grow down, grow stronger. And verti draining is going to be the key. We've had Liam O'Keefe over, Callum Brown as well, just about a different method of preparing a New Zealand track with sand in it. So verti draining is going to be our key tool to prepare a safe track.
Are you confident where the track sits now, that it's going to be exactly where it needs to be by race day?
Yes, we've got another 7 weeks up our sleeve, so we've probably started earlier than we should do to get horses back on it. What's positive, because we've still got a lot of room to move to get where we need to be, really.
Getting horses back on the track, what does that look like?
So there's a process of just getting horses slowly working on it. We had 10 horses go around this morning. They did 3/4 to half pace, and then we'll go into a jump out program, trial program with senior riders, and we'll be then into racing.
Liam, back at Awapuni, 3 months since you've seen the track, what differences can you see?
Yeah, it's certainly a different track now. Back in early December, it was quite young and the seed was just starting to push through the profile and the sand slits were quite evident, but now the track's really thickened up and there's good density in the surface and the sand slits have fully filled in with seed. And yeah, seeing the first gallops yesterday afternoon, it was quite pleasing how far it's come along.
Your role has really been a consultancy one in the progress of the track here at Awapuni. What did you need to be seeing right now for it to be racing in 7 weeks' time?
Yeah, seeing it well and truly on the way to being a racing track, and it was pleasing to see that the grass length has thickened right up and it has good density underfoot. It's always important to put horses on the surface to fully test them to make sure that the profile can handle the damage that a horse would normally cause on race day. But fortunately, there was minimal damage to the track, but the horses were able to get their toe into the profile. So pleasing results so far.
What was your opinion after you saw the track this morning, after horses had been on it?
Yeah, it was very pleasing. It was better, I think, this morning than yesterday afternoon. Yesterday afternoon, the track was probably a good 3, a little bit dry, whereas it had 5 mil of irrigation overnight, had good moisture in the top of the surface, and that's really important for sand profiles because it helps bind the surface together, and it certainly performed better with some moisture in the surface this morning.
Can you just give us a little bit of background about the profile and what it does look like underneath in this track?
So this track's had sand put on top of the original profile, so you will hear a different surface of horses galloping. When they do gallop past, it'll sound firmer, but when you come out and actually walk the track and talk to the riders, there will be that give in the ground. But the sound of a firm track is typical of a sand-based track, so that'll be something that people will have to get used to.
And what is the management when you do have a track with that sort of profile?
Yeah, with that sort of profile, it's important to keep the verti draining up to it, so you've got a lot of air in the profile so the horses can punch into the ground. With the sand base, it will drain faster, so it will require more water and also fertiliser. But all in all, it's a much improved track from the previous track, and it should race well in the future.
You are going to be back here for the first set of trials. What are you hoping to see in the next few weeks with the track? Just
that continuous improvement. At the moment, if you scratch down below the grass, there is still a little bit of fresh sand there. The sand slits are still slightly evident by the seeding, so I'd like to see that improve and marry up. Also with the regular verti draining, just getting that sand mixing into the bottom profile as well will only help the roots grow deeper down into the profile and create a stronger surface.
Callum, you've had eyes on this project right the way through, probably 5 weeks since you've seen the surface at Awapuni. What do you think of how the track is looking right at this point?
Well, the track's changed dramatically over the 5 weeks it's been here. About 5 weeks ago it was a bit bare and it was young, the seedling, but coming back I was very impressed with the density and the roots going through the profile as well. The roots getting down beyond 120 mil, which is great, and that's really holding together really well.
You talk about those sort of specific numbers, what is it that you're looking for right at this point in time?
The main thing for roots, you want them below 120 mil, but you want density. The key thing is density for stability for the horse. It's critical, so we want a lot of roots there. And so, well, from 5 weeks ago, it's dramatically changed. They were hanging around the top a lot, but there's a lot of roots there now, which is great.
If we just go back a few steps in the process, what were some of the concerns leading up to this point?
The concerns was that because it's got sand on the top, there was concerns around how stable that sand would be. And the thing that helps that stability is obviously the grass, the density and the health of the grass. So there has been there's a bit of a change in the nutrient program, which has got the profile going. It's keeping it recovering a lot quicker, which is essential for a horse track. You need that recovery because of the use, and we saw that this morning and yesterday with what the horses do to a surface. But it's held together very, very well. We're really impressed with where it's at the moment.
Just to explain what you're seeing post gallops this morning.
Post gallops this morning, there's they get their toes into the surface, which is good because they get a bit of traction. But the divots aren't very deep, which is great, and the divots aren't excessive as well, which is great. But there was no movement, there was no slipping whatsoever, which was concern. And I'm getting into the track, which is important to get the footing. And we're just really impressed for the age of the track, for how it's marked up. Its marking's very minimal for the age of the track.
And with your experience, where does this track now need to get to in order to be racing on it?
I think the track's going to be fine for the next, the 25th, for this April 25th meeting. Keeping on the track, we're going with the nutrition, with the verde draining. The track needs that a lot, and the water management's critical. It's a lot different tracks. It does require a lot more water than the previous track, and that's going to be essential to help bind the sand as well on the top. So all in all, I think it's going very well, and it's good. It's most important just to manage the wear throughout the winter when it slows down a bit. So you've got to look after the young track, and it will take 12 to 18 months to consolidate, so that's critical.